everybody, welcome back. I'm Alex, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Please do subscribe if you like this video. Today I am going to do the Disney tag. So shout out to the Disney GrownUps and Fiona and Scott's Adventures for doing this first. I thought I would sort of hop on the train and answer some questions. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first question is, what character do you think that you are most like? The Disney grown-ups and Fiona and Scott did this with their significant others. What I did was I just asked Eric who he thought, but he didn't really have a very good answer. So he said Cruella de Vil. I think that I'm a combination of Goofy, Sadness, and maybe some Donald thrown in there. I love Sadness. I think she's really hilarious. But I do think that it's also, she's a really, really wonderful character. And I tend to have sort of like a Debbie Downer vibe sometimes. And I can also kind of have a short fuse at times. So that's where Sadness and Donald come in. But I think also I have like a Goofy side also, where, you know, I like to joke and have fun, and I can kind of be a little bit ditzy sometimes. And I also find it so humorous when Goofy gets angry. We're from West Virginia originally, so he has that like southern drawl part of it as well, and I just find that really appealing. So I think there's a little bit of that in there too. Next question is, what is your favorite queuing area at the Disney parks? And for me, hands down, it is Slinky Dog Dash. When we went there last year, I was just completely in awe with how incredible it is. I mean, I get that it's Toy Story Land, but having the entire queue be like a fort built out of different game boxes and game pieces and the giant clipboard and everything, I was just completely blown away. And it's like, how do you even think of this stuff? It really reminded me of the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids section of that was at, I think, Hollywood Studios way back when. I loved that when I was little, and I loved the giant like oatmeal pie and riding down the film strip slide and all that kind of stuff. So it really just brought me back to that, and I love it. It's so phenomenal, and I cannot wait to get back there. The next question is, what is your most unique set of ears? And you guys have seen these ears already, but it's actually this pair. This is the only pair of ears that I own, so it's therefore the most unique, but I do love them. I got them at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, and I love Maleficent, so I love the little horns and like the green fire like that she has. So these are definitely the most unique pair of ears that I own. Next question is, if you could get rid of one ride, which one would it be? This isn't really a ride, but I would definitely say Hall of Presidents. I think it's boring. It's nice to get out of the heat and go into like that air-conditioned room for a while, but to be honest, it's like a little too real for me. Like when I'm at Disney World, I want to not know that there are presidents or politics or anything like that. So I think the Hall of Presidents can just sort of like, you know, slowly fade away. And maybe if they are going to replace something with a Toy Story marionette show, it could be that. So just saying. Question number 5. What is the most random Disney fact that you know? I would say, and I just learned this a little bit ago, that the outfit that Genie wears at the end of Aladdin is actually, you know, whenever he says he's going to Disney World and he has all the like vacation stuff on, that's actually inspired by a real photo of Robin Williams. So I think that and I'll put those photos up here for you. But that would be the most random fact that I know at this point. But I know a lot of facts about, just like random facts about Disney stuff and movies and TV in general, just because I really enjoy behind the scenes. I'm one of those people that really likes the special features of DVDs and that kind of stuff. So I just really enjoy making ofs and all of the behind the scenes stuff. Question number 6. What is your favorite land to sit and relax in? I don't necessarily have a favorite, but for some reason we always tend to end up chilling at Frontierland, and I don't know why. I think at least the times that we have been there, it tends to be a little less crowded than like a Fantasyland or Tomorrowland or what have you. There have always been like little areas that we can just sort of hang out, eat a Dole Whip, and catch a parade maybe. At parade times actually is when it gets the most crowded because it is sort of in the middle of everything. But when there isn't a parade or something going on, it's just sort of like a thoroughfare, I feel like. So there is a lot of areas to just sort of sit and hang out for a little bit. Next question, if you could have one ride in your backyard, what would it be? I will say my favorite ride is the teacups, so I will say the teacups, but I probably wouldn't be able to ride it every day. I just really love how they look. I think that it's colorful, and I love when the little mouse comes out, the dormouse comes up out of the teapot. So I think that would be one that would make me happy seeing it in my backyard. Next question, what is the worst queue experience that you have had? I haven't had a lot of like truly awful queue experiences, but I will say one that tends to stick out is just like one really, really hot day and we were in line at Big Thunder Mountain. It was like crazy because there's not a whole lot of shade before you get into the little like pavilion area. Like whenever you're kind of getting close to getting on the ride, a lot of it is outdoors, and it was just miserable hot, humid, and typical Florida, but this just seemed to be like really, really stifling humidity. So I would say that was probably my worst queue experience, but we haven't had anything, knock on wood, particularly awful as of yet. Next question is, if you could invent a new ride, what would it be? So I had to think about this for a little bit, but I think, and I know that there are rumors about this, but it hasn't been proven that this is actually, like, Disney hasn't said anything about this actually happening. But I think that some sort of Wreck-It Ralph ride, whether it be a roller coaster, I think that would probably make the most sense, is a roller coaster or some sort of go-kart ride with Vanellope and Ralph. I think a roller coaster could be cool because you could almost do sort of like a rock and roller coaster type feel where they are actual like little cars, like they drive in the game, and you're racing each other, or you're like racing in the roller coaster. And I think that they could do some sort of cool effects, almost like enclose it sort of like a Space Mountain, and you could get the more like cartoony aspects of it and almost like you're in the game. I think that would be something really, really cool to do. Question number 10, if you could work as any character, what would it be? I would say, just from a look standpoint and for ease of use, I would say probably Snow White. I think that, I have the dark hair, I'm pale, and I think that it would just be neat. Also, I would not want to be any of those characters that have to be like in a suit, because that would be horrendous having to do that in the summer times. So something where you could just be in a costume, like a dress or some sort of outfit, I think would be much better. And I think Snow White is probably who I look most like and would be able to pull off the best. The next question is, what is your favorite Disney quote? And this was really difficult for me to come up with because I have a lot of them. Like, there are things that I quote all the time from Disney movies, but I think probably the one that resonates the most with me is Never Grow Up. And because I think that it's important to always be a child at heart and just really always enjoy life. And that's part of why we go to Disney, right? All of us childless millennials going to Disney to keep the childhood alive, and it just makes you really happy. And I think that there's nothing wrong with being kid-like and having fun. So I think Never Grow Up is probably one of my favorites. The next question is, what is one piece of advice for visiting the parks? I would say that probably the best advice that I found online the last time that I was going to Disney World was using gift cards. It's very helpful for budgetary purposes. So basically, last time we went, you put $300 or $500 on a gift card, which you can buy at the grocery store which will then give you, like, if you get any sort of perks at the grocery store or extra perks. I know at our grocery store at Giant Eagle, you get extra perks, like double perks for buying gift cards there. So you get that incentive, and then you load the money onto it. And then when you get there, you can use that for food and beverage or whatever, if you don't have like a Disney dining plan or something like that. Or if you are going during a festival at Epcot, we used it for the Food and Wine Festival, which was really great. But we used it just for anything that we bought at Disney while we were there. And then by the end of it, I think we had like $20 left or something that we could then put toward our souvenirs. So I think that is probably the best tip that I like to give people, is utilize gift cards. The next question is, which film or franchise do you think needs more representation at the parks? And I will go back to the other question and sort of play off of that and say Wreck-It Ralph, because I know that they do have Vanellope's on Disney cruises, but there isn't a whole heck of a lot of representation anywhere else in the Disney parks that I'm aware of. So I think something, either do a Vanellope's at one of the parks, or I don't know, just something else, something maybe in one of the arcades, I think would be cool. Just any sort of additional representation there, because I think it's such a smart film, and it's just hilarious, and I love it. And I think that I could do with a little bit more. I was really, really excited at the Not So Scary Halloween party when there was a Wreck-It Ralph float. I got so excited. So that's definitely my top one that I think needs a little bit more love at the parks. Next question is, what is your favorite villain outfit? So mine, spoiler alert, is Maleficent. So the cape, the horns, the staff, everything, I just love it. She is definitely my favorite. I will say, though, a special shout out to the Evil Queen, but Maleficent in my book takes the crown. This one this is kind of a weird question, but what are your favorite toilets? Now, I have to confess that I did not know until recently about the Rapunzel toilets in Magic Kingdom, and I'm a little bit horrified. I kept seeing everybody with these lantern pictures, and I was like, well, where the heck is this? Is it like, well, what is going on? How am I still missing this? I did not even know that these bathrooms were a thing. So I'm really excited to check them out. I know it's weird to be excited about bathrooms, but apparently they're a must-see. So those can't make my list because I didn't even know they existed. But I will say, just for like cleanliness and not being very crowded, actually, I was very surprised at the Epcot like World Pavilion, where they have like the different demonstrations and stuff during the Food and Wine Festival and the different festivals. It was actually well stocked. There weren't many people there. Obviously the whole place is air conditioned, and it seemed like it was like a little bit off the grid. I think maybe because it is set off from the main area. So I was gonna say those. I did also find the bathrooms at Cosmic Rays were pretty good as far as like not being crowded. I think that's my number one stipulation for a good bathroom, is like not being crowded. The last question, but certainly not the least important, is what film do you think should be remade in live action? And I also had to give this a lot of thought to make sure that I didn't say one that had already been remade, but I think that The Sword in the Stone could really make a very good live action film, because I think they could do a lot with Madame Mim. I think the story is there, and a lot of people, it's sort of like an underrated film, and I think a lot of people really do love it. So I'm going to say The Sword in the Stone. I think that would be a good one, a good like older Disney film that could be remade, that they could easily retell the story in a good way, and it would get audiences like old and new. So I think that some of the people that love the old original cartoon and those that maybe have never seen it could enjoy. So I think that could be a good one. So those are my answers to the Disney tag questions. If you are watching this video, you are tagged next. I am very interested to see what anybody else has to say about some of these questions, especially the bathroom ones, because that's kind of a good tip to know, right? But I will also link below the original videos from the Disney GrownUps and Fiona and Scott so that you guys can check out their channels as well. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and thanks so much. I will see you real soon.